Have you ever looked around and felt like you were out of place? Not just in one situation, but everywhere. Since childhood, have you carried a quiet, unshakable feeling that something about you was different? Maybe you walked into a room full of people and felt your body pull away, your energy shrinking back as if protecting itself from something invisible. You weren't imagining it. You weren't broken. And you were never meant to be like everyone else. This message is for a very specific group of souls, those who have been marked not by chance, but by divine intention. If you have the letter M etched into your palms, if you've ever noticed a faint crescent moon near your thumb, and if you've spent most of your life feeling like you don't belong, this isn't a coincidence. This is your confirmation. You are not alone, and you were never meant to blend in with the crowd. You were chosen to stand apart, for a reason the world is only now beginning to understand. You see, those who carry these sacred marks often carry a spiritual weight. Most people can't even comprehend. You absorb energies that aren't yours. You walk into places and feel things others don't even notice. You find yourself exhausted in large gatherings, and yet, when you're alone, in nature, in silence, in stillness, something inside you feels whole. That is not social anxiety, that is spiritual discernment. And that sensitivity is your divine protection. This video will reveal why your path has been one of isolation, why people may have misunderstood you, and why, despite all the suffering and confusion, your soul has never given up on seeking truth. You were not placed here to fit in. You were placed here to awaken, to guide, to heal, to remember who you really are. And if what you're hearing already resonates deeply within you, take a moment now to comment 111 below. Not just for the algorithm, but as a symbolic act of spiritual acknowledgement. Let the universe know you are listening. Let others find your message. And if you haven't yet, subscribe to The Secret Path, because the path ahead holds answers meant only for the ones marked by heaven. There's a reason why you've always felt like a stranger in familiar places, why the room would go quiet when you entered, why your presence seemed to disturb unspoken energies that others couldn't sense. But you could. Since childhood, you've likely asked yourself, why don't I connect with people like everyone else does? Or why do I feel more seen by animals, trees, and silence than I do by other humans? This isn't imagination. This isn't trauma. This is recognition. You were never meant to fit into a system that wasn't designed for you. Your soul came coded with something ancient, a divine frequency that doesn't resonate with the noise of the world. And so, while others crave attention, parties, validation, and belonging to large groups, you've always found yourself drifting away from the noise, gravitating toward the quiet corners of life. That quiet was not weakness. It was your natural alignment. The world often tells us that not belonging is a flaw, but in spiritual truth, it is one of the greatest signs of a chosen one. Not everyone is sent here to blend in. Some are sent here to disrupt, to illuminate, to carry light into places where it has long been forgotten. And the ones who carry this light most purely are usually the ones who had to walk alone for most of their lives. Even when you tried to be like everyone else, something inside resisted. You may have forced yourself to attend events, smile at gatherings, make small talk, only to come home feeling completely drained, disconnected, and even lost. Because every time you tried to silence your inner truth to gain acceptance, a piece of your soul dimmed. But the moment you honored your solitude, the moment you embraced your sacred silence, you started to come back to life. The chosen ones with the M and the crescent moon are wired differently. Their souls carry an older memory, a remembrance of purpose, of sacredness, of divine mission, and the world they were born into, noisy and blind, doesn't know what to do with souls like these. So it shames them, it isolates them, it labels them as antisocial, strange, overly sensitive. But here's the hidden truth, that isolation was protection. That strangeness was sacred. That sensitivity was your divine compass trying to guide you away from what was false and back toward what is eternal. There are things in this world that logic cannot explain, signs not made by human will, but inscribed by divine intention. Long before you arrived in this body, long before your first breath, your soul agreed to carry a message. And for those who have been marked with the letter M and the crescent moon on their hands, that message is written right into your being, quietly, patiently, waiting for your awakening. These are not simple creases of the skin. They are celestial seals, etched symbols that carry an ancient vibration. The letter M, often formed where the head, heart, and lifelines converge, has been revered across spiritual traditions as a sign of divine favor and spiritual inheritance. It is not bound to a single religion or culture. It transcends all of them, as if whispered directly by the divine to those who would one day remember. The M has appeared in sacred texts, in visions, and in the hands of prophets and mystics, always connected to mission, mystery, and meaning. And those who bear it often carry the sense that they are being guided, even in their darkest hours, that their pain has purpose, that their solitude is sacred, that their life is not random, but deeply orchestrated by a force greater than themselves. And then there is the crescent moon, that delicate curve beneath the thumb that glows under certain angles and light. Subtle, almost secret. It is the sign of the watcher, the seer, the one attuned to the silent language of the spirit. The moon has always represented intuition, revelation, and divine timing. To carry its shape on your hand is to walk through life with an inner compass that the world doesn't understand, but the heavens fully recognize. To the world, these markings may seem meaningless, but to you, they explain everything. The isolation, the sensitivity, the dreams you could never explain, the way your heart breaks for things others don't even notice. These marks are not there to impress. They are there to awaken. They are reminders that you were chosen to walk differently, to love deeply, to see beyond the veil. So if you carry these signs, the M, the crescent, or both, and you feel your soul stirring as these words reach you, comment 111 below. Not as a trend, but as a testimony. Let others who carry the same sacred code find your light. You are not alone, and you were never meant to be. You've likely been told that you're antisocial, too quiet, distant, or even cold. But what others saw as a flaw was never a defect. It was protection. You were designed to feel the energy that others ignore, to discern what cannot be spoken, and to carry a level of spiritual sensitivity that most people will never comprehend. That is why crowds exhaust you. That is why your body tightens in chaotic places. That is why, even surrounded by others, you often feel completely alone. It is not a social issue. It is not shyness. It is not brokenness. It is spiritual contrast. Your soul recognizes when an environment is out of alignment with divine truth, and your body responds. You may feel heaviness in your chest, a sudden wave of anxiety, a sharp intuition that something is wrong, even when nothing seems obvious. This is not paranoia. This is discernment. The chosen ones marked by the M and the crescent moon are born with a deep spiritual filter. You don't just hear words, you hear energy behind them. You don't just see faces, you sense intention. And when those intentions are impure, manipulative, dishonest, or simply chaotic, your entire system begins to shut down. You become quiet, withdrawn, invisible. And in that invisibility, you are not weak. You are shielding your light from contamination. It's why you seek nature, why the forest feels like a sanctuary, why the moon speaks to you in silence, why solitude doesn't feel lonely to you. It feels safe. You don't recharge through stimulation. You heal through stillness. In the noise, your soul whispers, but in the silence, your spirit sings. Many chosen ones spend years trying to force themselves into crowded rooms, unhealthy friendships, fake conversations, just to feel normal. But normal was never your calling. You were not created to blend into artificial environments. You were sent here to hold a frequency so pure that the world has to adjust to you, not the other way around. And yes, it may hurt. Being misunderstood often does. But there is sacred purpose in this spiritual insulation, because in those moments of withdrawal, God speaks. The angels protect, the truth settles. and your mission becomes clearer. So if this resonates with you, if you've ever walked into a room and felt like running, or if silence has always felt like home, comment, "I hear" in the silence below. Let others know they are not broken. They are just tuned to the divine. If you're honest with yourself, you've probably asked this question more than once. Why do I always end up alone? You may have tried to build friendships, to create bonds, to feel included, but somehow people drift away. Invitations stop coming. Conversations fade. Even those you once loved may have turned cold without reason. It hurts. And for a long time, you believed it was your fault. That maybe you weren't lovable. That maybe something in you was too much or not enough. But the truth, the sacred untold truth, is that your isolation has always been divine. You were never being rejected. You were being preserved, hidden, set apart. Because the calling over your life is not common. The light within you is not ordinary. And the world, in its current state of noise, distraction, and spiritual blindness, could not be trusted with the full radiance of who you are. So heaven did what heaven always does with its rarest vessels. It covered you in silence. Your solitude is not a punishment. It's a chamber of preparation, a season of sanctification. It's where your spiritual gifts were sharpened, where your discernment was refined, where you learned to hear the voice of God without interference. The world sees only loneliness, but the Spirit sees a cocoon, a holy hiding place, where the chosen are transformed before being revealed. Think about the times you sat in your room in the dark, crying without fully knowing why. Or the times you walked in nature and suddenly felt peace wash over you, like the earth itself was speaking to your soul. Or the nights when you looked at the moon and felt something ancient inside you awaken. These weren't coincidences. These were moments of alignment. Your soul was remembering what it came here to do. You may not have known the words for it, but now you do. You are not lost. You are not strange. You are being prepared. So let go of the idea that something is wrong with you. Instead, embrace this sacred season of solitude, because it's in this very silence that your wings are growing. And soon, the same world that didn't understand your absence will witness the power of your presence. Perhaps the most powerful moment in the journey of a chosen one is the realization that their pain was never isolated, that what they carried in silence, others have also been carrying in different corners of the world. And now, by divine timing, you are beginning to find each other. You see, part of the loneliness you felt for so long came from believing you were the only one, that no one else cried at night without knowing why, that no one else walked through crowds and felt invisible, that no one else saw the world and felt deep down that this wasn't home. But here, in this moment, on this very video, you're discovering a truth more healing than any doctrine. You were never truly alone. You were just waiting to remember, waiting to awaken, waiting for the others to arrive. Look at the comments. Read the stories. From all over the world, people are whispering the same truths you've been holding in your heart for decades. People in their 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s, finally understanding why they were always different. Souls who carry the M and the crescent moon, just like you. Souls who were kept in the shadows, misunderstood, rejected, and yet never gave up on the search for something higher. This community, this spiritual convergence, was never built by algorithms. It was built by energy, by vibration, by the silent language of the soul that recognizes its own kind. And now, the chosen are being gathered, not by accident, but by design. You are finding each other, not in churches, not in politics, not in institutions, but in moments like this, where the veil thins, and the truth speaks directly to the heart. You were placed here to see this, to hear this, and to remember. There comes a moment in every chosen one's life when the suffering becomes too loud to ignore, when the heartbreak feels unbearable, when the betrayal cuts deeper than expected, when even the silence, once comforting, begins to ache. And in that moment, the soul cries out, "Why me?" But what if the pain wasn't punishment? What if it was a summons? A divine alarm clock meant to awaken what the world tried to put to sleep. You didn't come here to live an easy life. You came here to live a meaningful one. And in this realm, where truth is hidden and light is rare, meaning often emerges through the fires of adversity. Your tears have watered the soil of your own rebirth. Your loneliness has carved out space for divine intimacy, and your suffering has trained your spirit in ways that no teacher ever could. The chosen ones marked by the M and the crescent moon do not have ordinary lives. Their paths are steeped in spiritual warfare, not because they are cursed, but because they are carriers of spiritual light. And the brighter the light, the greater the resistance. That heartbreak you endured, it didn't break you. It purified you. That rejection you faced, it wasn't the end. It was redirection. That moment you lost everything, it wasn't your fall. It was the beginning of your rising. The universe didn't abandon you. It prepared you. It stripped away the illusions. It removed the attachments. It silenced the noise, so that when your time came, nothing would stand between you and the clarity of your divine calling. And that time is now. Because here you are, not by accident, not by chance, but by orchestration. Something brought you to this message. Something ancient and holy, something that knows that you are ready. So if this resonates with the deepest part of you, if your suffering has been sacred and your fire has forged something unbreakable within, comment. My pain had a purpose. Below, declare it, seal it, and let it be known. Your soul has not been defeated. It has been activated. Something has been happening inside you that no one else can see. A shift, a stirring, a silent unfolding of power that even you may have struggled to explain. You find yourself sensing things before they happen, dreaming with symbols you don't understand, feeling the emotions of others as if they were your own, seeing through the words people speak, into the truth they try to hide. These are not coincidences. These are not delusions. These are your spiritual gifts being awakened. The chosen ones with the M and the crescent moon are vessels for a frequency that this world forgot long ago. But that frequency is returning, and it's returning through you. You may have noticed that your intuition is no longer a gentle whisper. It's becoming a roar. You know things without knowing how you know. You feel the truth before it's spoken. You can walk into a space and instantly feel the vibration of the room. And when something is wrong, your soul recoils before your mind can even process it. This is your divine software activating. You weren't meant to survive this world through logic alone. You were meant to navigate by spirit, to be a channel of divine awareness in a time of confusion, a light in a world that has made peace with darkness. But here is the challenge. The world is not ready for your light, not yet. They will call it strange. They will call it fantasy. They will say you are too sensitive, too emotional, too much. But that is what they always say before the truth becomes undeniable. What you carry is not for entertainment. It is not a trend. It is sacred. It is ancestral. It is prophetic. And the more you surrender to it, the more heaven will entrust you. With its mysteries, you may feel unworthy. But the truth is, you've already been chosen. There is a moment in the life of every chosen one when the waiting ends, when the lessons of pain give way to wisdom, when the silence of isolation gives birth to clarity, and when everything you have lived, every wound, every night of questioning, every invisible battle, finally begins to make sense. That moment is not in the distant future. That moment is now. You are not watching this by chance. You are not here because of an algorithm. You are here because your soul is being summoned. Heaven is aligning your awareness, your gifts, and your mission into one single timeline. This one. The dreams you've carried for years, the visions that made no sense until now, the pull you've felt towards something greater than this world, all of it is colliding in this very season. You are being called forth. The M and the crescent moon were only the beginning. They were spiritual signatures, sacred reminders of what had been planted in you long before this life. But now, The message is no longer about the marks. It is about the movement, the activation, the rising. You've been hidden long enough. Your voice has been quiet long enough. The earth is groaning and the world is unraveling. And in this chaos, your light is needed. This is your hour. Not to prove anything to the world, but to fulfill what your spirit always knew you came here to do. That mission may not look like what others expect. It may be quiet, it may be creative, it may be a single act of truth that changes someone's life forever. But whatever it is, it's already inside you, and the signs are all around you, urging you to move. Stop doubting your timing. Stop looking for permission. You were chosen, not because you were perfect, but because your soul said yes. So if you feel the pull in your chest, if you know these words are not just words but a divine confirmation, then comment, "This is my hour," below. Let your soul speak. Let heaven hear you. Because this is not a rehearsal. The time is now, and you are ready. Chosen one. If you've come this far, it means something inside you refused to look away. Something ancient, buried beneath layers of confusion and silence, began to stir while these words entered your spirit. And now you understand, it was never about being accepted by the world. It was about being awakened by the divine. Everything you endured, the loneliness, the misjudgment, the sensitivity, the silence, was preparing you for this exact moment. Not to make you smaller, but to make you pure. Not to keep you hidden forever, but to allow your roots to grow deep enough to carry what shallow ground could never hold. You were set apart because your light was never meant to flicker in chaos. You were chosen because your soul remembered what others forgot. And now, finally, the veil has lifted, and you know you were marked for something greater. You know the M and the crescent moon were not mistakes. You know that heaven placed you here in this timeline for a reason no one else may ever fully comprehend. This is not about becoming something new. It's about remembering who you already are. So now, the decision is yours. Will you dim your light again to make others comfortable? Or will you rise in your quiet strength, in your sacred solitude, in your divine clarity, and walk as the one who was never meant to fit in? Because the world is watching, the spiritual realm is waiting, and the time for hiding is over. If your soul has heard its name today, if you felt seen, remembered, and claimed, comment 111 below as a sign that you are ready. Ready to walk in truth, ready to carry the light, ready to be who you've always been. And if this message touched something deep within you, subscribe now to The Secret Path. This is not just a channel. This is a gathering place for the chosen, a safe space for divine reminders, a home for the ones who've wandered but were never lost. You were revealed now, because the world needs your light, and it's time.